Come with Steve and I on an interesting ramble over the back table of Table Mountain in Cape Town. We're going to start in the Kirstenbosch National Botanic Garden and climb up the back table through a beautifully forested ravine called Skeleton Gorge. Hi Steve, we're going to enjoy Skeleton Gorge today.
Okay.
Let's go take a little stroll up Skeleton Gorge. Alright, we're off up through Newlands Forest, up to Skeleton Gorge. On our right is the Environmental Education Centre called Goldfields, the Goldfields Environmental Centre at Kirstenbosch, and where we're going is straight up Skeleton Gorge up there. Here's one of the old apple trees in Kirstenbosch, which is a leftover from the era when this part of the world was settled as a farm, and we're now going on up the Stinkwood Trail towards Skeleton Gorge. Well, we've now reached the high-level road, which is the highest vehicular access point on the side of the mountain, and we're about to head off up to the contour path, and that'll be around this way. And there are the stairs that go up. Okay, Steve, lead on. Oh, guess what? More meta video. Okay, on you go, and we're off up the mountain towards Skeleton Gorge. Well, if you'll excuse all the heavy breathing, here comes Steve up the last steep bit of the path, reaching the contour path. So I can already hear the water at Skeleton Waterfall. So this is where we join the contour path and traverse across to our right and past the waterfall. There we go. Okay, having turned left when we reach the contour path, it's just a short walk, a couple of 100 meters across to the Skeleton Gorge waterfall. And here we are at the waterfall itself. We're going to cross the stream just below the waterfall and head off up the stairs another 100 meters and turn right up Skeleton Ravine. Well, here we're now about halfway up Skeleton Gorge, and we've climbed up alongside the river. There's the river alongside us, and up we go. There's Steve up at the top of the ladder. Interesting little section we've reached now, where they've put in a few ladders to assist us. Here comes Steve up the ladders, slowly wending our way up Skeleton Gorge. This is just a couple of ladders which have been put up here to make this difficult section a little bit easier for the average mortal. Come along. We're now at the top of the ladders, and the path actually moves into the stream bed itself, and we walk up Skeleton Gorge in the stream bed amongst the rocks and the flowing water. So one has to be very careful of one's footing and move very gently. Okay. And here comes Steve up the riverbed itself. It's a bit of a scramble, but nothing too dramatic if we just take it slowly and walk up gently. Yeah. Steve is continuing his way up Skeleton Gorge. Very attractive part of the route, in amongst the rocks and the water. Here's Steve coming up one of the more interesting sections of the climb, through the trees that have fallen across the pathway. How are you doing, Steve?
Oh, I can use a rest.
Yeah, we're going to have a rest. Another 10 meters up the hill. Okay, we've come up Skeleton Gorge. Yeah, we've had a good little rest at the Gabions, and now we tackle the last part of Skeleton Gorge, about the last 20 minutes or half an hour. Here we've got an all-woman crew, busy packing rocks and working on the path. It's very good, Steve. That is Cape Flats and the False Bay beyond, and you can see Seal Island, where they shoot all the great white shark videos. And we're still being chased up the mountain. There you go, Steve, heading for the top, and we've now walked out of the forest and into the open fynbos. And there's the Hottentots Holland Mountains in the background, False Bay in between, and the Cape Flats in front of us. And here we're reaching the top of the trail up Skeleton Gorge, and that big rock ahead of us is known as Breakfast Rock for all those that climb up really early in the morning, very enthusiastically, and have their breakfast when they get up here. We're now going to walk on, and I'm going to show Steve that we do get a beach on top of a mountain. And I'm talking about a sandy beach, not a beech tree. So we'll walk on shortly, Steve. And would you believe that when you get to the top of Skeleton Gorge, one of the first things you find is evidence of a beach. And as we come over the brow, there we have a dam and the beach. These are all dead tree stumps from old pines that were inundated when the dams filled many years ago in the last century. Here comes Steve, down a little bit of stone embankment which they've put to protect the top of Skeleton Gorge. And there is, I think this one is the Healy Hutchinson Dam. There's the top of Healy Hutchinson Reservoir, where we came up over the crest of Skeleton Gorge. We saw a couple of lanner or peregrine falcons flying up here when we arrived, and now we're walking alongside the dam, and we are off down the side of the dam to the little museum which they have in the distance there. There it is, center screen, where we will go and have a look at the museum.
Our exploration of the museum and the back table of Table Mountain continues in part 2. Please join Steve and I there.